What's up, everybody? Wanted to do a video on my fan installation. Just there weren't a whole lot of videos out there that I could find, and so it seemed like a good idea to kind of walk you through what I did through the research and whatnot that I found. So I ended up going with the Lite 180. It was a single fan that put out 3,300 CFM, which was around the highest I could find for a single fan that stayed within a reasonable budget. I had originally ordered this from Jegs because it was the cheapest at $239.99. After I ordered it, I found out that, or they told me it was on back order and that it wasn't going to be shipped till December. Which wasn't really going to fly. So, I went looking and landed at Summit. It was kind of the next, step up in price. It was like $309 or $315 or something, maybe $319 for the same thing. But I wanted to get the fan, and again, it was, so this was going to be $300. The next step, for like a double fan, 212s or something. In the size that I needed, it was going to be like $400 or $500. So I went with Summit, gave them a call. Actually, I called them because on their website it said estimated shipping date. So I wanted to confirm, in case they were maybe on back order too. But actually, by the time I got a hold of them, their website had changed to where they had them in stock. But in my looking through their website for actually contact information, I found out that they do price matching. So I talked to them about that and called them. And they called it beat a price or price beat or something. And so they actually sold it to me for $238. And it got here in a week. So awesome job, Summit guys. I actually had a really good experience with them on my Fitech unit, because when I was getting all my work done, the vintage air, the Fitech, the lowering and everything, the vintage air was like 8 weeks out, and the Fitech was going to be like 6 or 8 weeks out. From the company itself. Well, I went over to Summit and they had them in stock, so I ordered it from Summit and got it in 2 days. So instead of waiting 8 weeks, I waited 2 days from Summit. So I think I'm going to start going to Summit from now on all my car searches. But anyways, landed on this. It came with a temperature probe, which I was okay with. I actually, before this fan, I tried a smaller fan with a temp probe, and the smaller fan was 1,300 CFM. Temp probe worked like it was supposed to. I wasn't entirely sure where I was going to put it, just given the amount of space that this fan takes up the entire amount of space. The AC condenser takes up a lot of space, but it is what it is. I didn't know at the time. I didn't know any other options, so ordered the fan, got it in, got it installed. It was a little bit more modification than I was expecting. I had to kind of cut a bit of the top of the fan off because it was about 17.5 inches tall and I had about 16.5 inches. So it's maybe not sealed as well as it could be at the top, but it's sealed all the way around and with the brackets I made, and it's still pulling way more air than my fan did. So I went, I had a little bit of experience from the first fan installing it, but this was a little bit different, a little bit more fancy at the end of the day. I really didn't want to do the temp probe because especially after looking, like, again, there's no space here, and really, you're supposed to put it right next to your coolant, the intake tube. I got nothing here. I ended up putting it right there, and while kind of looking up the wiring, because I get super nervous about that. I came across a forum that talked about how you could connect your Fitech unit to your electric fan, and I checked the display gauge, and it's turned on, and you can see the yellow wire there. I had the yellow wire, so I was like, awesome. How do I change the setup with the probe to run off the Fitech? And that was somewhat challenging to find information on. I did some asking on some Facebook groups, and really I got some good answers, but my knowledge of electronics is just not great. So it was kind of over my head a little bit. So I did end up installing the probe here, and it worked like it was supposed to. But given the fact that this is so far from where it comes in, and the air is coming in directly where the probe is going, it would run while I was, driving slowly or at a standstill. But if I was cruising around town or on the highway, the fan would actually turn off because it would go below the temperature that I had it set to, which wasn't really going to fly. So I went back to the drawing board with the Fitech. Joined a couple of Fitech groups on Facebook, and actually found 2 posts and a PDF that like answered all my questions. There was a guy, it was 3 years ago, I contacted him, he had this post, and he sent me some pictures, and it was sort of the same answers as I got before, but more in my language. And really you just need to run the fan off a relay, which I was somewhat confused about. But I actually had a relay from the first fan I bought, because I returned the fan, but I kept the relay because it was, I used it. And then I found a PDF, which I'll put a link to if I can in Facebook and Instagram here. But basically what you do is you don't use this. You just use a regular relay, which has, it's like 30, 85, 86, 87, and 80. It's got those 4 numbers that all those relays have. It's a 40 amp relay. And that's where I found the PDF, which was super helpful. And so, I've got the yellow wire now running to the relay. And really, what I ended up kind of figuring out is you've got your power from the battery, and you've got your ignition source power, so it turns on just when the car's on. And then you got your switch from the Fitech. I mean, this is the way I understand it. So you got the power coming into the relay that's going to the fan. So it's here. This is the one. So it's coming in here. The power is coming in, and it's coming out to the fan. But then this here is a switch that is then controlled by the temperature set, that's taken by the Fitech. So then you set that on your gauge, and I just tested it out, and it worked like it was supposed to. So that's super awesome. I did a test on this one. It was just parked in the garage here, and I turned the fan on at 195, and it actually got down to 185, and that's how I kind of knew where to dial in the knob when I did it with the probe. So it turns on, it cools like it's supposed to. I'm super stoked because it didn't like the heat to begin with, which I knew was kind of an issue, but it was drivable. But then when you added the condenser, it just it wasn't happy at all, especially when it was like 100 degrees outside. So I just ended up not driving it. But just kind of wanted to run through that wiring. It's just kind of, you've got your red wire, your heavy gauge red directly to the battery. I've got another red ignition source running into the fuse panel under the dash there. You've got your power wires, running. These two actually just are basically, I get the light out of my face. These, I've still got the box here, and these plugged into, they're basically working as grounds. This black wire is connected to the negative on the battery, and this one's to the fan. So really it's not really difficult. I just get paranoid that I'm gonna burn something. I did add you've got your fuse for the connection directly to the battery. I did add a fuse here. It was recommended on a few forums for your ignition source power. So I had that from the smaller fan as well. So I just threw that in there since I read about that a few times. I think that is about it. I'm hoping this, this lasts for a long time. I haven't read too many negative things about them. All right, so that's it. I guess shoot me a message if you guys have any questions. I don't know how much I'll be able to help you other than kind of walking you through what I had. And again, I'll try to put that PDF on somehow. or maybe a link or something. I don't know. All right, anyways, you guys have a good night. Bye.